Welcome, everyone. My name is Amber Brockle, and I am an Associate Director of Student Financial Services at Seattle University. Today, we are going to discuss the 2024-2025 FAFSA changes, also called FAFSA Simplification. We know you've got questions, and we have answers. Today, we will talk about what is happening to the FAFSA, why it is changing, how it is changing, when the changes are happening, and what's next for you. So, what is happening to the FAFSA? The FAFSA is undergoing the first major redesign in over 40 years. Some important changes to note are the new and improved IRS Direct Data Exchange tool called DDX, consent. All contributors must provide financial consent for the student to be eligible for federal financial aid and need-based aid, and changes to the Pell Grant calculation. You might be wondering why the FAFSA is changing. According to the Department of Education, FAFSA simplification will provide a more streamlined application process, expand eligibility for financial aid, reduce barriers, and create a better user experience for the FAFSA form. So, how is it changing? The Department of Education has updated some of the questions on the FAFSA. One example is the question about ethnicity. This question will be optional and will be protected, so schools will not have access to this information during the awarding process. There is also more built-in skip logic, which may make the FAFSA form shorter and take less time to complete. Other notable changes are the IRS Data Retrieval Tool, or DRT, moving to the IRS Direct Data Exchange, or DDX. Parents, step-parents, and spouses are now referred to as contributors. The expected family contribution, or EFC, is now going to be the Student Aid Index, or SAI, and Pell Grants will be awarded using different guidelines. The IRS Direct Data Exchange, or DDX, will be required starting in 24-25. Previously, users could opt to manually enter their tax and income information. The DDX will help to minimize errors and will reduce the number of questions to be answered. The DDX will also securely provide IRS tax information on the FAFSA. So, who are contributors? Contributors are anyone who is required to provide information on a student's FAFSA form. A new feature called the Parent Wizard will help determine who should be a contributor on the FAFSA. The students' and parents' answers on the FAFSA will determine which contributors will be required to provide information. Contributors will receive an email informing them that they've been identified as such and will need to log in using their own FSA ID to consent to the required information on the student's FAFSA. Contributors without a Social Security number can still create an FSA ID on the federal student aid website, studentaid.gov. One important thing to note is that being a contributor does not mean they are financially responsible for the student's educational costs, but it does mean the contributor must consent to information on the FAFSA, or the application will be incomplete and the student will not be considered for federal student aid or need-based aid. The expected family contribution, or EFC, will be replaced with the Student Aid Index, or SAI. The SAI more accurately describes the number used to determine aid eligibility. And unlike the EFC, the SAI may be a negative number. Although a negative SAI does not mean a student will receive more aid. There are some differences in the way the EFC was calculated and the way the SAI will be calculated starting in 24-25. Previously, the FAFSA calculated the number of household members attending college into the EFC. Beginning with 24-25 FAFSA, the application will still ask how many household members are in college, but your answer will not be calculated into the SAI. The net worth of a business is no longer limited to those with more than 100 full-time employees. The net worth of a farm now includes the value of a family farm. However, the value of a family's primary residence is still excluded. Child support received will now be reported as an asset on the FAFSA instead of as untaxed income. Due to the calculation changes, undergraduate SU students may see a change in their federal aid eligibility. But don't freak out about the calculation changes. There's something called the Income Protection Allowance, or IPA, that helps to protect some of the income reported on the FAFSA. For 24-25, the number of family members in college is no longer factored into the SAI calculation. However, the income protection allowances have been increased, which helps to offset the removal of these allowances. Also, note that Seattle U's gift aid guarantee means that your total institutional gift aid will not change. If you are continuously enrolled, continue to make satisfactory academic progress, and file a free application for federal student aid annually, Seattle University guarantees the amount of institutional gift aid that incoming undergraduate students will receive each year over the course of their attendance at the university. For freshmen, this is up to 4 years or 12 quarters. For transfer students, this can be up to 3 or 4 years, depending on the number of credits transferred to SU. For graduate students, scholarships may be renewed based upon program requirements and the student meeting satisfactory academic progress standards. Pell Grant Awards. Pell Grant Awards are only awarded to undergraduate students that have not already earned a bachelor's, graduate, or professional degree and who have exceptional need. The Pell Grant will be calculated using different guidelines. So families making less than 175% and single parents making less than 225% of the federal poverty level will see their students receive a maximum federal Pell Grant award. Minimum Pell Grants will be guaranteed to students from households below 275, 325, 350, or 400% of the poverty level, depending on household structure. Pell awards between the maximum and minimum amounts will be determined using the SAI. So when can you file the FAFSA? The 24-25 FAFSA is slated to be released by December 31st, 2023. You may be wondering how your Seattle U gift aid is impacted by the FAFSA changes. Seattle U's gift aid guarantee means that your total institutional gift aid will not change. If you are continuously enrolled, continue to make satisfactory academic progress, and file a free application for federal student aid annually, Seattle U guarantees the amount of institutional gift aid that incoming undergraduate students will receive each year over the course of their attendance at the university. For freshmen, this is up to 4 years or 12 quarters. For transfer students, this may be up to 3 years or 4 years, depending on the number of credits transferred to Seattle U. For graduate students, scholarships may be renewed based upon program requirements and the student meeting satisfactory academic progress standards. So what's next? Get ready to file the FAFSA once it's available in December. Awarding for the 24-25 academic year will occur in the spring of 24. For updates on FAFSA changes and more, please visit our 24-25 FAFSA changes webpage by scanning the QR code on your screen. Please know that we are here to assist you and answer any questions you may have. Feel free to call, email, stop by during walk in hours, or set up an appointment with one of our Student Financial Services staff. Thank you for attending and have a great day.